18 fighters took part in 9 fights at the inaugural Creator Clash event in 2022, and seeing what many of them have been up to since then has been an interesting watch. Let's begin with the first match of the night, which involved Matt Watson going up against the YouTuber Dad. This first fight ended up being the shortest one of the event, as Dad dominated and finished off Matt in just about 20 seconds for the round 1 TKO victory. After the fight, in the in-ring interview, Dad would go on to call out several other creators to take up a match with him, and then also spoke on Salt Poppy in a future tweet. While the Salt Poppy call out did get attention from the man himself, nothing came out of it, but eventually Dad did find an opponent for his next bout, and that would be AB from the H3 podcast, having the matchup take place at the second Creator Clash event in April of 2023. After having done a full-on sprint as his entrance, Dad would have his fight with AB and come out victorious there, as right when the first round ended, in between the break before going to the second, AB would say that he wouldn't be able to continue, and therefore give Dad another round 1 TKO victory to his record. After the win, Dad would call out the entire company of the WWE and also the YouTuber Nexpo. Now, after the fight, Dad and Ethan Klein from H3H3 will get into actual drama, as Ethan will bad talk Dad, and Dad, or I guess Nathan Barnett here, the guy that plays the Dad character, would just say that he didn't really like how Ethan had been treating his name as of recently in a video.
The night of the fight, the crew's reaction was super sad to me, super disheartening. They were saying really harsh things about me, saying I'm a dirty fighter. The next day, Ethan 180'd and said, no, we love Dad. But then even when he was saying that, he had to end his sentence with another dig. And he said, let's get Dad to call in on the show. He's got nothing to do. It's like, dude, what the heck, man? Like, I started to think, like, does this guy really just not like me and, like, truly think I'm a loser?
And that's where Nathan/Dad is at currently. Also, throughout the year after his first fight, Dad went on to make several appearances in other medias, like showing up on wrestling shows, and also being in music videos from the likes of Belle Delphines to even KSI and Oliver Trees. As for his own content, the now 2-0 boxer had also been posting on his lore-filled Dad channel, and also on his more personable Nathan Barnett account. Now, with all that being said for Dad, what happened to his opponent, Matt Watson, after his loss? Well, after the fight, Matt went on to call out Lucas Cruikshank, formerly known as Fred from back then, and Lucas responded to the call out with a witty tweet here. Matt would later reveal in his Super Mega podcast episode that Lucas said he wasn't interested in fighting in the end, and that he had also asked Ian from Smosh for a fight as well, but that he wasn't interested either. From there, Matt didn't really get back into boxing, as he just went on to continue creating content for the Super Mega channel with Ryan Magee, and continued to release music of his own, including a debut studio album titled See You There, and several music videos for it. So while we didn't really get any more boxing out of Matt here, we did see a funny situation come up from his fight with Dad, which was when the podcasting mogul himself, Joe Rogan, brought up the fight in his show and spoke on it as if it was an actual father and son fighting.
I saw a video today of a boxing match between a father and a son. It made me so sad. The father beats the shit out of him. I'm like, that's your son. And they were like cheering that this old guy knocked his son out.
That's not exactly what was happening.
It's not? What is it?
They're not father-son.
Oh, why does it lie?
Because
it says father knocks out son in celebrity boxing match.
Gotta get somebody to click on this.
Oh.
This was like a YouTuber thing. This guy's a YouTuber and he's a YouTuber.
I'm such a sucker.
So that was that for Dan and Matt Watson. Now let's see how Matt's other half of the Super Mega channel, Ryan Magee, did against the former Vlog Squad member, Alex Ernst. Ryan Magee would try to get a win for the Super Mega channel against Alex Ernst, but after going all 5 rounds in a tough fight, fell short and had Alex take the win here by unanimous decision. After all was said and done, Alex went on to tweet out this picture of him and Ryan, saying, "I may have won the fight, but he won my heart," to which Ryan replied with, "You're a champion, XOXO. Now, as popular as Alex is in the social media space on his own, he doesn't really post a lot to it and just pretty much stays in his own lane. So with that, there weren't really any major updates with Alex here, but he did upload a decent amount of vlogs on his channel throughout the year, but even while doing that, he has not shown any interest in coming back to the boxing ring. And that same thing can be said about his defeated opponent, Ryan Magee, as Ryan would just continue to do his own thing on the Super Mega YouTube channel. And on a podcast episode of it, would mention that he had talked with Alex after the fight, and both said that they weren't interested in doing that ever again.
Alex and I were texting after the event because we were just checking up on each other. He asked how I was doing. I sent him a picture of like my face, but my nose was very swollen. So I sent him the picture, and then he sent me a picture of him where his nose was somewhat swollen and black eyes, just like me. He was just like, haha, never again. And I'm like, same.
But Ryan did put his feet back into the boxing ring, technically speaking, at Creator Clash 2 with his Super Mega partner, Matt Watson. But this time around, it was to perform the national anthem with him. And from that, I guess we can now move on to the next fight that happened at Creator Clash 1.
Standing up 'cause the fight is now. This is the glory day.
Erik from Internet Comment Etiquette would take on DJ Welch in the third fight of the night, and unfortunately for him, will lose via round 2 TKO. After the fight, the two show respect to each other in the ring, and even mention perhaps doing it again in the future.
Is there anything you want to say to Erik?
Maybe we do this again? Absolutely.
From there, the winner DJ Welch will show more love to Erik on Twitter, and throughout the following year will continue to do his own thing on YouTube, most notably creating contents for the collab channel Animators vs Games. DJ Welch, even with doing that, has still shown interest in continuing to do boxing, as he has put out multiple tweets showing that to be the case. But the same couldn't be said for his previous opponent Erik, as he never really showed any interest in boxing again. He did post a positive tweet about DJ Welch though, after the fight, and then also made a video talking about what had gone down, and even featured the main man himself in it. Erik also started up a podcast of his own and featured DJ Welch in the first and only episode that's since been out. But with all of that, Erik has continued to post videos on his YouTube channel as he was before, but as said, has not shown interest in getting back in the ring anytime soon since then. But he was seen at the Creator Clash 2 get together and did take a picture with his aforementioned opponent, DJ Welch. Now, from that fight featuring a YouTuber versus an animator, we then went on to the next fight of the night, which was also another animator taking on another YouTuber. James from The Odd Ones Out will come out to the boxing ring on his 26th birthday to take on the Australian YouTuber iDubbbz and make it through over a minute on the first round until the ref had to call it off and give the round 1 TKO victory to iDubbbz. After the fight, iDubbbz will post his tweet here with a picture of him and James appreciating him for going through with the fight, and then also have James respond to it positively as well. From that, iDubbbz will come out and say that he told himself that he was never going to fight again, but then asked if anybody wanted to, and then called out Steven Crowder. iDubbbz from that will continue being in the boxing world, as later on he uploaded a video where he attempted to help Myth in his chess boxing match at Ludwig's event in December 2022, where a vibrating device will be given to the fighter to help him in the chess portion of the chess boxing match. Whether it successfully worked or not was questioned in the video, but that still showed that iDubbbz was still interested in the scene, and that interest would be shown again when it was announced that he was then scheduled to fight at the Creator Clash 2 event against the YouTuber Fitz. But that fight didn't end up happening, as iDubbbz went on to get a headshot and concussion during a sparring session of his, and the fight was then called off, and the two opponents just watched it from the comfort of a bed. So while iDubbbz did show interest in taking on more fights after his Creator Clash 1 match, his previous opponents in James / The Odd Ones Out did not necessarily go that same route, as he went on to upload an animated signature video of his talking about his experience leading up to the fight and the match itself. He did say that he was going to continue boxing training, but did not say anything about wanting to have another match. Instead, he went on to continue posting his regular videos onto his channel, and most recently also released his own Netflix show titled Oddballs, which, if you wanted to know how it has been received so far, it's been having, let's just say, mixed reviews. But now, moving on from those two male opponents, we then went on to have the first prominent female influencer fight in the scene take place at Creator Clash 1.
I ain't even lying, baby girl ain't putting on a front. Everybody in Minx's chat right now is trying to get fucked up by leprechaun.
The Twitch streamer Justa Minx would take on TikToker Yodeling Haley in a 5-round match that only went to the 4th, as Minx would take the win here by a TKO in the end there. Minx, after the fight, would give her props to Haley on Twitter, and Haley would do the same to her, but on Instagram. Now, for Haley, that wasn't the last time that she was going to be in the ring, as after the fight had taken place, she said that she was down to fight the YouTube streamer Valkyrie, who had shown interest in boxing after seeing the Creator Clash 1 event. No fight went down between the two, but Haley did return to the ring at the second Creator Clash event, where she was looking to redeem herself against her new opponent, Critical Role's Marisha Ray, and went on to successfully do it, as she then won her match by unanimous decision. So as Haley went on to have herself that redemption and have a relatively smooth / positive year after her initial fight at Creator Clash 1, the same smooth aftermath could not be said for the winner of that night on May 14th, Justa Minx, as she had many controversies and negative headlines take place after her win that night. First, just about a month after Creator Clash 1 took place, she spoke on a group of TikTokers allegedly trying to break into her house, all while she had also just fractured her dominant hand while training. 2 months later, she would actually have one of few positive news stories come out around her, saying that she had signed with the Prominence Optic organization. But then, not too much later, she went on to break her ankle after falling down the stairs, and had to go through the motions of that in September. In that same month, she was also getting backlash for laughing while listening to someone tell their story about being essayed, and then was also accused of blackmailing a female streamer. With that going on, Minx's Minx's Twitter account will release a statement talking about her mental health and that she was now taking a break to get some help, and when she returned to streaming in October, she talked about having to pay $10,000 for being in the psych ward, and in the same stream would apologize for the hurt that she had caused in the people of her life. Then at the beginning of November, her house was broken into by a man that was sleeping under it on her birthday nonetheless, and to add even more insult to injury, her 2 cats went missing along with that. She did eventually find both of them though, so there was a win there at least, but heading back to the time of the November 3rd break-in, on the following day, Minx had revealed that she had been dropped by Optic, and with that bad news, she was also being told though that she only had 24 hours to move out of the contents house. And as if all of that house / residency type of misfortunes weren't enough, Minx had also claimed that she had gotten banned from the Airbnb app after her stay at one of their properties was interrupted by a terrifying home invasion. Continuing on the bad news, later on in March, Minx had gotten herself a 1-week-long ban on Twitch after she had a stream where she was heavily intoxicated in it. And after that, she then also had more alcohol issues reportedly take place at the 2023 Streamer Awards after party, where it was being said by the host Cutie Cinderella that Minx had essentially ruined the whole thing, with her drunk actions being a disturbance at the scene, and then therefore having the whole thing be shut down in the end, costing Cutie Cinderella about $50,000 for having the party go to waste. Minx would defend herself and say that what had happened was a seizure, to which then her and Cutie would argue about what they thought had really happened. Minx from that will return to her home in Ireland in the following week, address her drinking habits, and it will pop up in the headlines again as she went on to get into a heated argument with her family on stream. But even after all of those controversies, all that backlash, and negative headlines, Minx still continued to train in boxing and got some very notable opportunities for herself, with the highest of these being in regards to her signing a multi-fight deal with KSI's Misfits Boxing Promotion Company. With that deal signed, Minx's first match for the promotion would be scheduled to take place on the Misfits 6 card as the co-main event against the YouTuber Fangs, but even that didn't go right for Minx there, as she had to be pulled out of the event for having travel and visa issues. But even after all of that unfortunate set of events for Minx there, she is still very much looking forward to fighting in the future, which at the moment will be for multiple events under the Misfits brand. So from Minx's last fight with Haley under the Creator Clash 1 event, we then went on to the next one of the night. Hundar versus AB of the H3 podcast will go on to be a tough battle for the two fighters as they went into the 5th and final round, and in the end see Hundar come out on top as the victor via TKO. Hundar and AB will give each other props after the fight, and we will then see them together in the same room again on the H3 podcast soon after. The winner, Hundar, will have another go in the boxing ring as he will then return for the second Creator Clash event. This time he will go up against the YouTube streamer Myth, whose side note and fun fact for those that might not know, Myth is actually cousins with AB. So, April 15th rolled around, and when it was time for the Myth versus Hundar fight to go down, a knockdown will be seen at the end of the first round, and when the break was taking place before the second one began, it will be announced that Hundar couldn't continue, therefore having him suffer a loss by round 1 TKO. It will then later be revealed in a Twitter video by Hundar himself as to what happened to him that night.
Bad news, everybody. Oh, I hurt my arm. They say I couldn't keep fighting because the bicep popped. Oh no, everybody. Having a bad time.
So clearly, he didn't take that loss to heart there. He just went on to continue to do his own thing, and then also even uploaded some videos on the experiences. Now, as for what happened with his defeated opponents from the year prior, AB of course continued to be a part of the H3 podcast, carried on streaming on Twitch, and kept working on his boxing, as we would then see him go up against the YouTuber Dad at Creator Clash 2. As already mentioned from the beginning of this video, from the Dad section, AB took a round 1 TKO loss there, as he wasn't able to continue after having felt something go off in his body, as he later described on the H3 podcast.
As soon as I sat down, I felt like something was pushing against something inside. I don't know, I guess it was rib. It was a bruised rib or something, but I think it pushed into something else. I felt like I could kept going maybe a little bit, but at the same time, I didn't want to push it.
Nah,
it ain't worth it.
Yeah, don't do it.
So as one can see, AB took the loss well there, and as a side note, even took a picture of him, and he also defeated Hundar after all was said and done. And AB, even after being defeated in just one round by Dad, he congratulated him and said that he deserved the win there. But things will get a bit tense afterwards, as Dad would negatively talk about AB's time spent on streaming instead of training. And that is when things heated up where the two parties in H3H3 and Dad/Nathan Barnett would hold resentment against each other.
He was also streaming during all his training, and he wasn't boxing.
Oh, I know.
He streamed all the time, and that's, I think, why he lost the fight. I mean, it's also just the way the full actual H3 crew reacted. They were like incredibly mean to me. So H3, whatever, dude. I know the audience is nice, but Ethan is pretty stupid in my opinion.
Dad has been popping off about me and AB.
It hurt because, I consider Dad to be a close friend. I still do. So this was very surprising to see.
This claim that you didn't train is so stupid, bro. It's insulting. It's lame.
Insulting, yeah, to a lot of people, yeah.
You trained your ass off.
Dude, I put
while doing a full-time job, which his ass doesn't have, by the way. Dad is fully committed. I'll tell you, that guy doesn't have shit to do. He is fucking nothing in his going on except this fight.
It's like, dude, what the heck, man? Like, I started to think, like, does this guy really just not like me and, like, truly think I'm a loser?
The beef has seemed to have simmered down, as nothing much was done afterwards, and Dad did mention in his own video that him and AB are cool with each other now after he had apologized to him. And with Hundar and AB now both being covered in this section of the video, we now move on to the following fight that happened at the Creator Clash, which was one that many people were looking forward to. In one of the more bizarre fights of the night, we would see the financial YouTuber Stephan go up against the offline TV member and content creator Michael Reeves. This matchup would only go to the second round, as Graham signaled to the ref that he had had enough of Michael's boxing ability there. After the fight took place with everybody in the arena excited, one had to wonder if Michael would be making a return to the ring in the future, to which he was asked that, and then he promptly answered,
"Are you going to be boxing again after this?"
Oh, fuck no!
Michael had also mentioned in the in-ring interview that he was working on a video relating to his boxing match and training there, and sure enough, it came out several months later titled "A Robot Teaches Me Boxing," where in it, by the power of technology and electronics, he concocted a way to have an Xbox controller literally control the movements of one's muscles, to where this was then put to the test by having two people control two other people in a match of real life Rock'em Sock'em. Oh, and as a bonus, I Did a Thing also made an appearance here. Now, Michael, content-wise on YouTube, didn't really do much on his channel besides upload another video, which was more vlog-based, but anybody that's a fan of Michael's knows the inconsistency of his upload schedule, as his videos are high quality. He did keep making content with offline TV though, so there was that on the YouTube side. And as for boxing, well, he said that he wasn't planning on doing another match, but he did still show his interest in the scene, as he was spotted at the Creator Clash 2 Red Carpet celebration. So, that's where we end off with Michael. Now, as to what happened to his opponent, Stephan, well, first, him and Michael did have a picture get taken together, and then from there, Graham went back to doing his own thing on YouTube with his main channel, second channel, third channel, and podcast channel as well. Nothing much has changed for his original output and content, as everything is still tailored to finance, and he's managed to keep a nice and clean, reputable image in the niche. Well, that was until the crypto exchange FTX went south, and the company ended up going bankrupt after they had deceived their customers and misused that money that they were receiving from them, eventually losing it all. Now, what does this have to do with Graham? Well, FTX was a notable sponsor of his in his videos, and that then had viewers and creators to those like CoffeeZilla call out the finance YouTubers that promoted FTX via sponsorship, including yours truly, Graham. This led to two videos coming out on the Stephan channel, one to address the FTX situation as the news was breaking, and two to apologize for not having done a complete due diligence of the company at hand when he was taking their sponsorship. But even with all of that remorse and guilt that Graham had gone from the whole debacle, he was still going to be named in a notable class action lawsuit that is looking to etch out $1 billion out of the several prominent financial YouTubers that had also promoted the crypto exchange to their audience. And as to what's going to happen there, well, we're just going to have to wait and see. But moving back to the content creation and boxing stuff for Graham, he did continue making his content as usual, where two of those videos were about the two Creator Clash events that took place. One involved having a small chat with Michael Reeves after Creator Clash 1, and the other video was a behind the scenes look at Creator Clash 2, where in it he even went on to speak on his future in boxing.
I'm a one and done. That was it. Michael got my only fight, my only punches. I'm not a fighter. I'd rather make a good YouTube video.
And from there, we can now go on to see what happened in the co-main event of the first Creator Clash with their two fighters. Harley from the Epic Mealtime YouTube channel and Arin Hanson will go head to head in this heavyweight bout, where near the end of the second round, Harley would overpower his opponent and come away with the round 2 TKO victory. After the fight, the two would show respect to each other in the ring and on Twitter, and from there the losing fighter, Arin Hanson, went back to making content for the Game Grumps channel, and even uploaded a new video on his own Eagle Raptor account, to which he hadn't uploaded for years on it. It was a showing of a side project that he had been working on for a while, and not necessarily a video made specifically for support the channel, but even then that was still something. He also went on tour for the Game Grumps brand, and as for boxing itself, Arin did return to the ring at the second Creator Clash event. He went up against the commentary YouTuber Jarvis Johnson and came out of that one with a round 2 TKO victory, successfully going through with his redemption arc there. So with that win there from Arin at Creator Clash 2, he then took a picture with his first opponent Harley at the red carpet celebration. So from that picture there, going back to Creator Clash 1, what did Harley do when he won against Arin, and what did he go on to do afterwards? Well, first in his post-fight in-ring interview, Harley would of course give props to Arin for taking up the fight, even with all the disadvantages that he had. And from that appraisal for Arin, Harley then decided to do his call out of another creator that seems to be more fitting for him, that being the YouTube streamer and internet personality Dr. Disrespect.
The Doc, I'm talking to you. I'm 6'6". You think you're tall? You think you're the two-time? This ain't a game, boy. And let me tell you something. That bulletproof vest you wear ain't gonna stop these guns. Think about that.
Dr. Disrespect wouldn't respond to the challenge until a couple of days later when someone asked him about it on stream.
Doc, what's your response to Harley from Epic Mealtime, who challenged you to a boxing match after defeating Arin Hanson? Are we going to see the 6'8" great in the ring? How many times do we have to talk about this, champs? It's the same thing when you guys say, Timmy's calling you out, or you should box Timmy in the ring. Do we not understand the difference in athletic ability? That's like going on YouTube and watching some 5'3" kid drain a 3-point shot and go, whoa, this guy could ball, man. Hey, Doc, he wants to play one-on-one. You gonna play him?
Of course, no fight took place between the two, so Harley went on to continue making videos on his Epic Mealtime channel, and then eventually went to announce his return to the ring at Creator Clash 2, which this time around, he would be going up against John Hennigan, an athlete who was best known as being the professional wrestler John Morrison in the WWE. On that night, after John Hennigan made his way into the ring with other stars in the wrestling industry, a lonesome Harley would come down through the crowd, ready for war that night, and man, did he go through it. Harley will go down a total of 3 times throughout the match, one in each round that he fought in, with the first of these knocking him out of the ring as the first round was ending.
Harley goes down now! You're all good, Harley. You're all good, baby. Get back in there, big dog. How you doing, big man? Wow.
The second knockdown will happen in the following round, and the third would happen in the third, where the ref called it off there. In the post-fight in-ring interview, after John had called out several other people, he will hug it out with Harley one last time there, to which Harley would then say that he wants to have a wrestling match with John in the future. A wrestling match wouldn't happen per se after that, but Harley did go on to crash a match of John's the following week, where John was fighting for a title and screwed him over in that way. Now, as for what's next for Harley in boxing though, he is also going to continue being in the scene, as he had also made a statement at the end of an Instagram post saying that he's not going to end it all off on a loss there. And with all of that being said, for the co-main events fight there from Creator Clash 1, we now go on to the main events of it.
I got Reese's Puffs in my bowl. Nowadays on cruise control. I got Reese's Puffs in my bowl. And just like that, I'm on the road.
iDubbbz versus Dr. Mike will headline the inaugural Creator Clash event in front of a sold-out crowd at the Yodeling Center. And after hearing Airsoft Fatty try to sing the national anthem multiple times and then getting it right, we saw iDubbbz and Dr. Mike go all 5 full rounds that were 2 minutes long each, and the winner that came out of this main event will be Dr. Mike via unanimous decision. Although the results here were clear and no one really argued with the outcome, there was still a bit of controversy in the match, with first having the round numbers and times mixed up, as this after tweet from the Creator Clash Twitter account stated that the fight was meant to be 3-minute rounds for 4 instead of the 2-minute rounds for 5 that we saw. And another thing that was being talked about controversy wise was that Dr. Mike had went straight for iDubbbz immediately after doing a glove touch at the beginning of one of the rounds, but in the end all was good as the two hugged it out and gave each other props after that final battle. Dr. Mike would thank iDubbbz and Anissa for the amazing event that they had put up, and he would then go back to making his usual content for his main channel and also now his podcast channel. One of the videos that Dr. Mike had made on his main was him talking about his fight with iDubbbz and clearing up the aforementioned controversies that came from it. And then from that, it would then be announced that Dr. Mike would be fighting again very soon on the Jake Paul vs Anderson Silva undercard, this time against the MMA fighter and now also pro boxer Chris Avila. This fight would be a professional bout, marking Dr. Mike's pro debut here, and this matchup between the two will go all 4 rounds, with the judges decisively giving Chris the unanimous decision victory. So, even though Dr. Mike lost here, I do want to bring up that he made a video on the situation where he briefly mentioned that he went ahead and gave his purse to charity. And after going everything that had happened, Dr. Mike, at the end of that video, laid out what he wants to do next in the boxing scene by leaving the challenge open for anyone out in the YouTube crossover world.
I wouldn't write me off just yet in the boxing community. I still think that I have something to offer to the sport. So YouTubers, I'm putting you on watch. I'm not an easy fight. It might have been an easy fight for Chris Avila, who's fought 20 plus times. But for YouTubers, I would be careful of challenging the doctor because I'm still ready to prescribe these hands.
So with that, that's where we leave off with Dr. Mike. Now, let's go back to that fateful night of where he had defeated iDubbbz and see what the founder of Creator Clash had done since then. So, a week after the Creator Clash 1 event took place, iDubbbz went on to upload the whole show onto his YouTube channel, and then a couple of days later would upload another video where he talked about the event and his loss against Dr. Mike. iDubbbz here, along with that, also talked about the success of the show. This, along with reports coming out that the pay-per-view had also done over 100,000 buys.
It's looking like we're going to be raising close to $1 million for charity.
At the end, iDubbbz will hint at perhaps doing another Creator Clash event if the fans wanted it, and then it will be revealed that the Creator Clash actually raised over $1.3 million for charity. As for iDubbbz though, he will go back to making the occasional videos on his YouTube channel. And from that, the fans awaited to see if a second Creator Clash event would take place, and in January of 2023, it will be officially announced on the iDubbbz channel that it was in fact going to go down with 12 fights planned, having the main events of this one be between himself and Alex Wasabi. Now, before Creator Clash 2 would even go on to take place on April 15th of 2023, that event will gain a great amount of controversy when 3 weeks prior to it, they would announce that one of the fighters, Froggy Fresh, had been dropped from being on the card that night. Speculation will come about from this as to why Froggy had gotten kicked out of the event, with the two most popular ones being that it was either because he had been training with iDubbbz's arch nemesis, Sam Hyde, and he was making content around it, or because Froggy had brought up iDubbbz's wife, Anissa's OnlyFans during a promo, and then had also gotten into an argument with her mom on Twitter. Or simply, it was a combination of both. Either way, the majority of the community, with the context that they had at the time, did not feel like the kicking of Froggy Fresh was justified. The Creator Clash Twitter account will put out a statement regarding the controversy, adding little to no explanation for the decision. And from there, it was then time for Creator Clash 2 to take place. On the 12th and final fight of the night, iDubbbz and Alex Wasabi will go head to head in its professional bout, marking the pro debuts for each of them here. And in the end, both fighters will go all 4 rounds and then have the decision go to the judges, where the victor was then announced.
The winner by majority decision, Alex Wasabi.
After that, Alex will get his post-fight interview, where he will reveal that he had heard that this could be iDubbbz's last match in boxing. And to that, he then asked the crowd if they wanted that to be the end for iDubbbz, to which they said no. And then Alex, after hearing that, then let the crowd into a one more fight chant that would then lead iDubbbz to become emotional over. iDubbbz, with that going on, would then get asked by Alex if he still had another fight in him, to which then we had this moment happen.
You got one more fight in you, boy! If you insist, Alex. Yeah!
After that, iDubbbz will then get his post-fight interview, in which he emotionally thanked the viewers for coming out and supporting the event, and after having the well-received show take place, things were smooth sailing for iDubbbz there. He went on the H3 podcast, talked about the event, hinted at a content cop coming back, or at least a video like it, and that would then get followed by him surprisingly uploading a video titled Addressing the Froggy Fresh Drama, in which he broke his silence surrounding the whole situation and revealed that the reason Froggy Fresh was kicked was due to his association with Sam Hyde.
The main reason Froggy was kicked from the card was for collaborating with Sam Hyde. And, for anyone who's been following the story, that's, fairly obvious. Froggy has explained his side of the story multiple times.
iDubbbz also talked about how Froggy Fresh had been talking about the fighters on the card, people surrounding it, and also disapproved his negative views on sex workers. The video, after having been uploaded, was about a 50-50 split as to what people thought about it, with one side saying that the evidence that iDubbbz showed in the video was mostly him just showing footage of what Froggy had done after he had already gotten kicked, and then also found it ridiculous that Froggy had gotten removed from the event just because he had collaborated with a guy that iDubbbz did not like. And that was also not to mention that the replacement of Froggy Fresh ended up being this much bigger guy in William Haynes that some would say posed a dangerous disadvantage for the original fighter that didn't even do anything wrong, Chris Raygun, the guy that was supposed to be fighting Froggy. Those were some of the major criticisms against iDubbbz after the event, and this new why Froggy got kicked video were out. On the contrary though, the people that were supporting iDubbbz with all of this thought that he was right in kicking Froggy, as it is his event, and from what iDubbbz was saying, it didn't look like that Froggy wanted to fully cooperate with the Creator Clash 2 event organizers and their guidelines. In addition to that, a lot of people were also sympathetic to iDubbbz and his wife Anissa, getting constantly dogged on by Sam Hyde, to the point that iDubbbz had to publicly request Sam to stop harassing him in that same video.
Sam Hyde has made it a habit to try to sound like a reasonable person by saying, if Ian and Anissa just asked, I'll stop harassing them. This is my request. I would like you to not harass me or my wife or anyone that we're friends with.
And from that, Sam would try and leave a comment on the video telling iDubbbz, "Come train with me. Do it in secret and for free. I don't need clout or money. I will stake my career and reputation on you getting a win." He would tweet out the comment that he made and said that he wasn't joking or trolling when it came to what he had said there. But even with that, iDubbbz did not respond to any of what Sam had to say there. And one of the last things that happened regarding Froggy here was that he then dropped the legal letter that he was sent by the Creator Clash team weeks before Creator Clash 2 took place, where the letter had it seem like that they were threatening to sue him. And the reason as to why he was posting this now was because in the new iDubbbz video, iDubbbz has said that they weren't ever going to sue Froggy. Anissa, after seeing the new Froggy Fresh tweet come out, would release a couple of clarification tweets onto her Twitter. And from that, iDubbbz will get into even more controversy, believe it or not, but this time it was because of a new video that he uploaded onto his channel titled "I Miss the Old iDubbbz," where in it Ian would address the people that have quoted the title and also talk about his past content and how he wasn't a fan of it anymore due to the effects that it had on other people. In particular, he discussed his Content Cop series, how he felt about those videos now, and revealed what he planned on doing with the uploads on his channel.
I'm sorry to everyone that I made Content Cop videos on. I still don't like the majority of you, and that's fine, but I can recognize that you did not deserve the hate and harassment that I sent your way. I'd like to unlist the videos so that people, can access them still for whatever, purposes they might want to do that for. But it's not being proliferated on the website.
Again, after this new video came out, there was a split as to what the people thought about iDubbbz and the upload itself, with one part of the community saying that he didn't even need to make this kind of video, addressing his changing content and personality, and the other part saying that it was great to see iDubbbz take accountability for what he did in the past, and that his growth here should be acknowledged by the community. And now, moving on from all of that drama, one last extra tidbit that I like to add here that shows just how big the Creator Clash name is when iDubbbz and Anissa went on the H3 podcast after the Alex Wasabi fight. Ethan Klein mentioned about the selling of the Creator Clash name as a concept. Then Anissa and Ian spoke on an interesting opportunity that they were actually offered by a huge company.
I wonder if you guys can sell Creator Clash almost and get a payday that way.
Well, we've been offered
already.
Yeah, by Fox.
Fox?
Whoa. Yeah, we said no.
Was it 7 figures?
How much was
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
7 figures.
Like low 7 figures. Can you just tell me the number?
A few of them.
I mean, I don't know what it was specifically. It didn't come directly to us. It came to one of our business partners, but we said no, and we're never going to do anything like that just because it's too special.
It loses its soul.
And now with Creator Clash 1 and 2 being in the books, the thing to look forward to now is seeing who is going to step up to the plate for Creator Clash 3 and seeing what more stories can come out of it, either being from those that get played up or to those that have real animosity towards each other. And now, with all that being said, that'll be the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in another one.